Good evening, community. I am so excited to be back online here, Facebook Live. I haven't done one of these in, my goodness, about a year and a half. And we just had such an opportunity here with a really special guest. I said, I gotta do it. So we've invited Lorrain Jensen on the program tonight. And she's gonna be sharing with us about the power of intention, which is something that I know she is so passionate about. Both her and I are really passionate about. And we want to invite you guys into the field tonight too. So start off, just jot in there if you're tuning in, where you're coming from, where you're tuning in from, and your name and who's on board. And we're going to let this thing build tonight. But Lorrain, what I want to hear from you off the start is just, I know you well. You're getting to know me pretty well. But lots of people don't know you so well. So give us a bit about your background. You have an awesome journey to where you are today. I wanna, yeah, go for it. Let's hear your journey. How did you get to where you are today? How did you find out about this intention thing?
How much time do we have? That's a good question. How did I find out about the intention thing? I don't think there was a finding out. I think it's just a knowing. You know, like I think that I feel blessed in my life that there have been a few events. One of them when I was very, very young, and I was standing in my bedroom just playing teacher like I always did. And I had this vision of myself standing on a stage. And I knew then that I would stand on a stage and I was building people up energetically. That's what I was doing in this vision. And I didn't know what it meant at the time. So over the years, I've watched for it, and it just keeps showing up and showing up. It was just a knowing. It's a knowing.
Okay, well, isn't that amazing? Hey, and you can trace that right back to early childhood. I wonder how many other people out there had earlier childhood knowings. You know, and I think there's an innocence when we're children that we trust those other dimensions. You know, I often tell people. I started walking on my dad's back when I was like 8 or 9 years old, right? And so that's how I was kind of initiated. And I'm wondering out there, everybody who's tuning in, how did you start tapping into your intuition and the power of intention? How did it start showing up in your world? And so again, guys, we want to share, okay? We want to hear from who all's tuning in, number one. And we want to hear how did you start tapping into all this? That's great.
While that's happening, can I just tell you about my brother?
Oh, right. We want to, yes, go ahead.
Oh, no, not him. My brother, my real brother. So my brother, when he was a baby, I mean, he was born and he had one of those green plastic helmets, an army helmet, and he wore that thing to bed. And he had a green parka, and it was way too big for him. He looked like Alvin and the Chipmunks, and he wore that thing everywhere. And then he started playing with old plastic soldiers. And then he started playing Risk. And then he joined the military because we all knew he would. And he was there for 35 years. You know, like it was just a knowing. It was a knowing. Everybody knew that boy was going to be in the military.
Right from the get-go. Fantastic.
So that when he phoned us and he was in Afghanistan and a bunch of his men were killed that night, you know, my dad said to us then, we knew he was going. We know that's his life. Carry on playing the game we were playing.
Yeah, fantastic. And so we're going to talk a lot about the power of intention tonight and how that infiltrates our day-to-day and how we can work with the power of intention in conscious, creative ways. I know Lorrain has some incredible stories of things that she's manifested over the years. And so we want to kind of pick her brain and hear more about that. Now, the other thing I want to speak to you about is you're a fantastic presenter as well. You've got quite a background with Pursuit of Excellence. I think that's where a lot of people first got to know you. And then you spawned a whole nother group too. I think that was called I Love My Life. Wow, and you built a community there. So, you know, you've really created community throughout your journey, haven't you? That's been a really important piece for sure. What's so important for you about community, Lorrain?
I've always known And Piglet took this line from me that it's always better with two, like there's just this energetic thing for me always in my life, Norm, that when I'm doing something with somebody else, the energy is greater. I feel like I'm a bigger person. I have more to contribute. And I think in our lifetimes, there are times probably a lot of us feel left out or different or too short, too big, too small, too whatever. And I've really, really struggled my whole life to make sure that people are included, that nobody ever got left behind, because I just knew, like I know how to breathe, that when I saw people sitting in the corner, and I still do it today, when I see people by themselves, I want to go and include them, because I've just always known that the power of that is so incredibly important. And when I was walking through an airport one day and I saw that book, The Bond, I just knew that I had to buy it just based on the name. And it I don't want to say it changed my life, but it gave me the confirmation that everything that I believe is on track.
Fantastic. And isn't it amazing to see the stepping stones of how, the journey through Pursuit of Excellence, I Love My Life, The Bond, and where that's taking you to today? It's been really a journey, and an organic journey. You can't plan all those pieces out. We could never see it 5 years ago or 10 years ago that we'd end up where we are today. But we just keep step by step by step, and look where you are today. Pretty incredible. And so one of the things that I marvel in regards to the power of intention was this summer, we had the opportunity here in Nanaimo to host the Science and Spirituality Workshop, which was host to Joe Dispenza and Greg Braden and Lynn McTaggart and who else? Bruce Lipton. There were some phenomenal people here. And after the workshop, now both you and Catherine Daw had a thought, and we're still unsure who first had the thought. I think they were just tuning into the same radio station, right? And so they downloaded the thought. And the thought was, hey, we should start intention circles here in Nanaimo. Now that was in June. And in July, we hosted our first workshop, which you invited me into, which was fantastic to co-create. And since July, this thought has now become this community phenomenon where we now have, how many different groups is there now around Nanaimo?
I think there's 12, 13, or 14 groups.
Wow. Last I checked, I think there was 8. And it just is growing and growing and growing. And these are groups of people, just regular folk who are coming together on a regular basis, and they're practicing the power of intention, right? And what people are doing is really stepping into the authorship of their own life.
Yeah.
And really trying on their skills, their organic skills that I think a lot of people know they might have, but maybe not use regularly. But we're seeing people practicing it regularly. And through that, friendships are being built, which is so cool to see.
Yes.
And we're seeing some amazing healings. We're seeing some manifestations. We're seeing some breakthroughs that really leave me speechless at times.
Well, while we're on that note, a friend of mine went into the hospital the other day, into emergency for a reason, and they called him back. And so for the last 36 hours, he's been waiting to go into surgery to do some exploratory surgery. And of course, 10 minutes before we started this program, he texted me to say that he's being wheeled in. I said to him, can we hold intention for you while you are in the surgery? And he said, absolutely. So I'm wondering if we can just ask the people that are listening in to just hold the intention for Rick, that his surgery comes out and, they just say, you know what, sorry, buddy, we were wrong, and give him a high five and send him home.
Okay, awesome. I love it. Hey, community, what a great opportunity to practice the
Mm,
power of intention right here, right now, real life. So this is a man named Rick
it is.
who's in Nanaimo
Yeah,
at
he is.
our hospital here, and let's hold the intention that the miraculous is going to happen here. So we're going to send him some energy. We're going to do that throughout our program. We're going to keep touching base with Rick a couple of times. How does that sound?
Thank you.
And fantastic. And if you want to leave some notes in the comment bar, your wishes for Rick, that would be fantastic as well. We can forward this video on to him afterwards. How does that
That would be
sound?
great.
Let's just fill him with love. Right
That would
on.
be great.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that Lynn McTaggart writes about in her book is that a surprise for her and the researchers as they were working with the groups was the beneficial effect of not just the recipient of the intention,
Yes.
but also the givers of intention, which for me is just mind-boggling. And I see it happen in my group, regularly, how good I feel after sending energy, sharing love with another human being. And so, folks, if you're looking for a bit of a payback or something, sharing some love with Rick tonight, you're going to feel better for doing it. How's that sound? Lynn also comments that it actually slows down people's heart rhythms. It brings down their blood pressure, reduces their level of cortisone in their body. It even changes the genetic expression. Now, this is her research. You can go and have a look for it yourself. Phenomenal stuff.
That book, The Bond, is an amazing book. It's an amazing book. And, she speaks to that in that book. Like you just said that you're shocked by what I do for others, right? So when I'm holding the intention for somebody else, I feel better myself. And yet everything that I believe, and I've always believed, is that what I do for you, I do for me. And what I do for me, I do for you. So I've spent a lot of my time in my life with this cup, and I've been pouring everything onto everybody else. And then my cup gets empty. I run out. And then I'm like, oh God, I'm drained. I've given too much. And then I try and pull it back up, but I'm still trying to give. And what I've learned over the last couple of years is that my job is to keep my cup full and actually overflowing. And as my cup overfloweth, I'm to feed from the saucer. I heard that yesterday somewhere, and I don't know where, and I love that. You feed from the saucer. And so when I'm giving intention, and the other thing that does for me, Norm, which I absolutely love, is that when I'm in an intention circle and I'm giving that intention, it's easier for me to receive. And when I receive the intention, I'm not afraid to ask for what I want anymore. So when I started, I was like, well, I got this sore finger. And now I'm like, just give it to me. Because regardless, number one, everybody, this energy is free. Like, it's free. Yeah. And the more that we ask for and the more that we create, the more that we generate a positive sense of energy. So don't ask for the finger, ask for both hands and feet.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's free. We've been looking for free energy. We've been trying to find this free energy, and lo and behold, this free energy is me, right? And it's by me sharing my energy, my positivity, my love with the world, then I get more energy back. Like, wow, it's the coolest thing. It's the coolest.
You don't need coffee.
There you go. Coffee's pretty good sometimes too. Hey, I want to give a shout out here to our community members who've jumped on tonight. Helene Martell, thanks for joining in. And Arena, thank you so much for all the work. The Intention Circles really has been a community event. This has not been just the two of us. It's been like a lot of people are coming together and co-creating, and Arena is just, she's been our wordsmith, and she's been writing some fantastic things. There's a book coming out, folks. There's a book being written, and we want you to help write it. How's that sound? We want you to help write the book. So Arena's looking for some stories. She wants to hear about your miracles, your manifestations, and your breakthroughs. and about the power of intention in your life. And so you can leave that on this thread. That would be fantastic. That might be a little longer of a share. If it's a longer share, you can leave it on our intention page, Facebook page. How's that sound? Right? And then the neat thing is then we can all read each other's amazing stories. And that just reinforces how amazing we are as human beings and the power that we all have, right? And what happens is we're creating a field of expectation, a field of acceptance of like, this is what life is. So that we're not shocked by it anymore. We're just like, this is the norm. Yeah, great things happen. Welcome it. All right.
That's right.
There you go. So we got Arena. We've also got Doreen Baker as well. And Doreen is a lighthouse. She's in my intention circle, actually. And we have the good fortune meeting at her home every week. And her home is like crystal clean and is pristine. The energetics is so clean there. And why I wanted to mention that is because there's been something that's unique I see with intention circles is that each intention circle is forming itself in its own unique way. You with me on that? It's
absolutely.
Like there's an organic expression of each group that, you know, and people are really coming for. I know your group's a lot different than my group. Why don't you tell me, share with us a little bit about your group.
So one of the things that, so I want to go back to when Catherine and I started this, and we had this, we both looked at each other and said, I've got an idea, and here we are. And, you know, for me, all I said in the beginning was, I just want to hold the space. Like, I believe that somebody has to hold the space for whatever's happening. And even if we take turns holding the space, but there needs to be some space created. And when one person invites another person, and then the energy doubles, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And that, you know, ideally is what we're talking about. So when I joined my group, I originally said, well, I'll just kind of float. Oh, because, you know, I think I know it all and everything. So I'll just kind of go to this group and I'll get them set up. And then I'll go to this group and I'll get them set up. So I go into my group and I'm like the baby in this group. These people are so spiritually developed. They're talking about stuff. I'm like, well, I need to look that up when I get home, you know. And then finally I just kept saying, what are you talking about? And I was a little dubious at first. I was a little nervous, like, get out of my space. I don't want you piddle, you know, like, what's the word he was using? So he was going to get in and fix these nigglies. I'm like, get out of my nigglies, you know, like, let me stay away. And now I just throw myself right into this group. Like, I throw myself into this group because I've created the trust for myself and the safety in that group. I went there yesterday to my group. It was at Monday night. I went to my group on Monday night, and as I was holding my intention, I started to get a headache, and I just started to cry, and I sobbed and I sobbed and I sobbed, and my team just were there for me. They were there for me, and they've been texting me ever since. And you know, I think, I don't know, I just feel so extremely blessed to be surrounded by such wonderful people. And I know that every group is different, and some groups are still kind of finding their feet, and other groups found their feet right away. And you know, we're all women and one guy, and there's one group which is all men and one beautiful woman, and other women are saying that's not fair. I'm single and she's not. And, you know, we're not a dating service, people. We're just, you know, holding intention. But some people come to the intention, and they're holding the intention for a partner. You know, and that's, people are asking for what they want. That's what I love, like really asking for what they want. And you don't get it. Ask.
Can you say that last piece again?
You don't get it if you don't ask.
Well, this is so true. Yeah. And you know, one of the things that I've seen, both within my process and within others as well, is knowing what we want. Now that, getting clear on that, that's a process, right? It is a
process.
And man, has it ever been beneficial showing up every week and stating what I want, and then hearing myself speak that, and then reflecting on it and refining it and getting a little cleaner with my request. That for me has been one of the huge benefits as well, and showing up every week. What do I want? when you ask most people that, what do you really want? A lot of people pause. They have a hard time to answer that.
And they don't know. And, it's like grasping at straws. It's like, oh, that's a funny question. I'm a realtor. So when I meet people, I say to them, so tell me who you are. And they say, pardon? I say, who are you? Tell me who you are. When I know who you are, I can be in better service to you. And a lot of people, some people don't really know who they are. They know who they represent. They know that they're a spouse, and they know what their job is, and they know that they, like to play baseball. And, I really believe that everything that we're doing in these intention circles is allowing people to show up as who they are. And, Limerick Taggart, I just love the work that she does, and that she talks about the fact that, like everybody wants to belong. Everybody. And I mean, this whole thing started for me with Catherine. I didn't get to go to the whole event. I went on a vacation. I came back. The event was announced and it was sold out. But I knew I wanted to see Limerick Taggart, so I managed to get in to see her. Now, what was I saying? Oh.
Okay. Well,
it was about, so one of the things that I believe, and I've said this for a long time, I believe that I would like to, I've proclaimed that Nanaimo be the kindest community in Canada. Now, anybody could take that and put their own city or town or neighborhood or family behind that. But I believe that when I say that, I practice that. Right. And so I think to myself, how do I do that? How do I do that? So I have a strategy, and every time I leave the house, I imagine that everybody has a sticker on their forehead that says, make me feel special. Again, it's free because there are no real stickers. It's just a thing that I see in people. I go, how can I make you feel special today? Because when I make you feel special, it fills my cup. So it's a win-win. Am I being selfish by doing that? Yeah, maybe. But you know what? They walk away feeling like they're a better person. That's it. It's all it is. It's a practice. So I started practicing that a long time ago. And so when I went to and I used to do, years ago, I started doing work at home Wednesdays. I was self-employed. I was writing a book, actually. And I had friends that were self-employed, and we used to come to my house on Wednesdays. Everybody would bring their lunch, find a spot, do their work. We'd break for lunch, eat together, and then carry on. And we all said that we did more work in that one day a week than we would collectively through the rest of the week. So why is that? Right? And then out comes Limerick Taggart with this brilliant book. Like, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I don't want to be any of those things. I just want to share the word. Like, I want to hold the space. I have enough energy. I know that I have enough energy to hold the space for greatness to happen. And that's why I invited great people to join me in the beginnings of this. You and Catherine and Arena and all the people now that are stepping up. It's amazing. It's wonderful.
A rising tide lifts all boats. Right? We can all lift each other up. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? We can all win. There doesn't have to be a loser here. And what goes around comes around. So Arena has stated on here, and good on you guys for posting it online for sure. It takes a little bit of courage. We're asking for a bit of vulnerability here tonight. And Arena says, for me, there has been some growth and expansion of asking for bigger and bigger miracles. And this is what happens. We say, hey, I want my toe to heal. Our toe gets better. And then we say, hey, and we start going for bigger things. And I think that's part and parcel to the process of people getting more and more in contact with what they really want. Yeah.
And trusting the process. I really do believe that underneath all of it, that we really do know what we want. I do. But I believe there is so many reasons not to trust the world that we're kind of protecting ourselves from the outside and not taking time to listen to the inside. So that when I take an hour or two for myself a week to go and sit in a circle of other people, in the beginning I was like, just get to it. And now I'm like, wow, like just keep talking, but I didn't trust that I deserved that much time to just sit and be with other beings and listen, like really listen. And as I listened to them, I started to listen to me. And that's the magic. And it's free.
There you go, guys. It's awesome. And yeah, and we're sharing tonight. This is a free broadcast, and you can share this free broadcast. Pretty easy to do, actually. If you're watching this live, real-time Facebook, or even if it's already been recorded, all you do is hit that little share button, and you can post this on your wall. If it's live, it's going to go live on your wall. Pretty neat stuff. And now you're sharing this meaningful message with your community. And if you think of how much maybe not so conscious material is on Facebook, I think we can spatter the internet with some love tonight. So right on. You have a fantastic message, Lorraine, and you know what I love about it is it's real. Let me say that. It's practical, it's real, and I've seen it impact me in my life. You know, I'm a professional. I work with a lot of people, and typically by end of day, I like my anonymity. I like to have my own space, and how that looks is, if I'm going to the grocery store and I've got some stuff to pick up, I might throw a hoodie on or two, can kind of go incognito. And I remember experience, it was about 2 months ago. It was after our last workshop that we did together. Or actually, it was after the first one. So it was a while ago. But just after the workshop, I was out grocery shopping. And, and I'm standing in the checkout line, and I'm appreciating the checkout lady and how, quick and really friendly she was. And then once I got up to the till, I thanked her and I said, "You must really like your job." And she said, "Well, I do. Why do you ask?" I said, "Well, you're great at it." And it was like a 30-second interaction, maybe a minute interaction. And she just lit up, right? Because she's been seen. We all want to be seen, right? It's like she serves 2,000 people in a day, right? And how many people actually see her as a real human being, doing the best she can to help you get on with your way? And she was doing a fantastic job. And so I just offered it to her. And she loved it. She sparkled. I went on my way. And I walked out of the grocery store and I thought, what just happened there? Because that was like typically not my nature in a grocery store. I'm like, hoodie in, out, incognito. And I went, Lorraine, this is rubbing off.
She's onto something. Yeah.
She's onto something. Fantastic. And so, yeah, and guys, the opportunity it's all around us, right? Whether it's even tonight on our Facebook post, just shout out some love to each other, and it just builds the field. And it's one of the things that I've been speaking more and more about at workshop is the power of the field. And the field essentially is the community and the energetics of the community, the attitude of the community, the beliefs, the energy, how we relate to each other. That's the field. And my goodness, we can create a field together of competition and aggression, where, and honking our horns at each other. I think we could go across the Georgia Street and experience tones like that. Or we could create our own nirvana, right? Yeah. We can create our own bliss. And what happens is it starts showing up more and more as we do it, as we attract others who are in a similar vibration, as we talk about it, as we think about it, as we think about it, it just starts showing up more and more. How cool is that?
One of the things that I really, really believe, and I've lived in Nanaimo for 27, 28 years, something like that, maybe a bit longer now, is that everywhere I turn, I meet these spiritual people. I'm like, what? How come I don't know you? Because, I've belonged to Unity for 20 years. I think that all the spiritual people go to Unity. And then I find out about the Haven. And then I find out about Bethlehem Retreat. And then I find out about the Metaphysical Society. And then I find out about this and that and all of these things. And I'm like, if we just came together, if we could find one thing that we could come together on, why not? Why can't we all agree that Nanaimo's the kindest community in Canada, and go out there and make it true? Because it's simple, there's no religion attached, there's no politics attached, there's no money attached. You just go out there and you be kind to people. Hey?
Yeah.
I think I'm onto something. I really do think I'm onto something there. And what and you're right. I mean, it doesn't matter who you acknowledge or you smile to or you hold a door open for. You know, like you don't know that person hasn't been acknowledged for a day or a week.
Mm-hmm.
And you just hold the door open and you say good morning. That's it. Like it's not that hard. And yet you see so many smiles light up on people's faces.
Yep. Fantastic. Well, if you were in any doubt, generosity and kindness are two of Lorraine's top values. Absolutely. And she is doing her darndest to create it in the world. And I'm curious, what are your top values? What do you really want? What do you want to intend in the world? And I'd love to hear it from you. Throw it in the comment section. Hey, we have a couple of new people just joining on tonight. Fantastic. I want to say hello to Stephen Pitcher. Stephen says there has already been exciting events and growth. It's really amazing to see and feel the energy between everyone. And he's got a big heart behind that. And yeah, how true is that? We are all connected. We are all one. We have these spiritual concepts. You know, we have these things that we say at church, but to actually experience it in action and feel it, the synergy between people and how energy can impact us and start living it. Now that's pretty cool stuff. I also wanted to say hi to Nadine Clark. She says, we need to connect into the present moment. Maybe that's a reminder to me. Am I not present in the moment? No, I think I'm doing pretty good, actually. All right. Special ingredients to connection. Make meaning in our own experience. Okay, so I'm just going to speak to that. I believe what Nadine is saying, you know, when we're practicing intention is like being connected, right? Being really present in the moment. And I find that at the intention circles, it's a really effective way for me to meditate because I have a focus, I have an intention, I have, you know, whatever the other person wants, you know, now I'm focusing on that. Whereas, you know, when for me to like sit and meditate, you know, sometimes I'm successful with that, but like having a really good meditation, I'm far more successful actually at my intention circles.
Can I speak to that?
Yes, please.
Well, I mean, certainly, again, it's energy, right? So it's amazing. I mean, my experience at my intention circles have just been amazing. And so I'm in Limerick Taggart is top of my list. And then the people in my intention circle and you and a bunch of other people, I've been following this other guy named Joe. So Joe Dispenza, you know, is talks about the meditation and lifting the energy and so forth. And I said one night to somebody in my group, I said, I'm levitating when I leave my intention circle. And then I went, oh my God, you know, Joe's saying, you know, like meditating to this place so that you can step into asking for what you want. And I'm saying at the end of my intention circle, I'm already there.
Right.
So, you know, what we've started doing in our circle, and we're going to introduce this in January, and that's the other thing I just would like to talk about, is that at the end of the circle, like typically we go one person, 5 minutes, and then they talk about their experience, and we move on to the next person. So what we do is at the end of the last person, as soon as that 5-minute timer goes off, we go 5 minutes, we set the timer, and then we just sit in our own space. And we hold our own intention. And I'm like, oh, we're there. Like I'm there. Like I'm there. And it's just, it's phenomenal. And the changes that have happened in my own life since I started doing this are crazy. And, you know, you know this, right? He's my chiropractor. And, you know, like I'm just a different person. But for me, it's that connecting to somebody else. Like Limerick Taggart says in her first book that when you join a group, any group, your health increases by 50%. your chances of having a heart attack in the next 12 months are decreased by 50% by joining a free group, right?
Right.
And you know, so there's so much magic in it, and it gives me the space and the opportunity to ask for or become conscious to what it is that I really want. Sometimes I don't know. I'm starting to get voices. Well, don't tell everybody this, but voices that wake me up in the night telling me what to do. And I'm like, whoa, you know, where did you come from? And it's because I'm getting cleaner and cleaner inside of myself. The other thing I really would like to say, and that speaks back to holding the intention for Rick right now while he's in surgery, there have been people that have put their names online and said, you know, one lady said, oh, I've got this really bad ankle. And so I said, okay. And when I went to my group, and somebody in my group said, I would like to dedicate my 5 minutes to that person. Well, I went back to her the next day and she's like, oh my God. And like within days, she's walking on that ankle. And one of my clients actually was going through some stuff. And I brought that to the circle last week in her shoulder. And she could feel, as we were doing the intention, she could feel the energy running through her shoulder. She's sitting in her house in Abbotsford, doesn't know what intention circle even is. And one of the things I really would like to do is to, you know, and we're building through testimony and through the practice, we're building the trust of everybody, and then everybody starts to include more people and so forth and so on. So far we've done 2 circles, 2 one-day workshops, and we'll be doing another one in January. And I hope I'm not jumping ahead of myself here. But one of the things that I really would like to bring to that is that we have an ongoing place where people can say, hey, I'm going into a tough conversation, or I'm having a really hard time, or I've got this ailment, or could somebody hold the intention for me and start to practice that? Because it's like, you know, I go to my intention circle and I just felt absolutely marvelous, and I come home and someone cuts me off and I'm like, ugh. And by the end of 2 or 3 days I've forgotten, and then I'm like, oh, I can't wait for my intention circle again. And so, you know, to get people in the practice of doing it on a regular basis, like to keep that energy flowing, because we know it's just energy. So how can I stay plugged into it on a more consistent basis?
Absolutely. One of the things our group, I love your ideas. And one of the things that our group does is we Facebook message at the end of our intention circles, just a synopsis of what each person's intentions were. And then throughout the week, if I've got 5 minutes or a couple of minutes here or 10 minutes, I'll flip open my Facebook message and I've got everybody there and I think of them, I send them some love. And so, yeah, it just keeps them in the field, right? It keeps practicing throughout the week. Some people do it regularly with their meditation. They just turn over to the intention circles for a few minutes each person. So there's lots of ways that we can work with this. Fantastic. And so we'd love to hear your guys' stories, you know, and just the power of all this. You know, it's pretty amazing to consider what we have within to do good, and how just a little bit of organization, how we can come together, right? That's all it is.
That's all it is.
And then from there, it's like the magic starts happening.
I also would like to invite people that have been to the first 2 workshops to come in January, because we're going to be introducing some new things and different practices. And it's like I used to belong to a network marketing company, and when I didn't just go to one meeting, I went to lots of meetings, because I was learning the same thing over and over, but I was amongst people, like-minded people that wanted to create a better experience of life for themselves. And so I invite people to keep coming back, because that's going to build the energy, and keep bringing friends, and that's going to build the energy. And every time we're going to introduce different exercises into the experience. So please, please, please come back and bring your friends.
That's awesome. Lorraine and I have been, well, we all have been developing some new technology, some new practices we want to work with you on. And it's a practice, guys. You know, this isn't just something we come out to once. We're building, you know, we want to practice, and we're also building a community, a collective community of goodwill, generosity, of co-creation, right? And a possibility. So every time you put your foot into it, every time you tune into it, it builds.
It does.
And yeah.
Practice, 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 support, support, support. That's what I've always said. And, it does. I mean, you come in and you just walk in the door. Look what happens. I say this sometimes. When I'm sitting in a room by myself, I'm sitting in a room by myself, right? Somebody walks in, boom, my energy changes. It's not always good, but it changes. And, the more I'm around like-minded people, my energy changes in a really great way. So why not enter as many rooms as I can to fill my cup so that I can leave those rooms and feed from my saucer and invite other people to join us, because that's what's going to take us to the tipping point.
Absolutely agree. So Arena reminds us that these weekends are the workshops, pardon me, they're afternoon 10 to 4 is our timeline with it. So it's a really powerful day. And she's reminding us that these are the intention circles expansion sessions, right? These are the expansion sessions.
That's right. Thank you, Arena.
That's great. And so we thank you for that. Nadine, she's commenting here as well about how this really is a quantum phenomenon. And I believe that to be true. If you do research into quantum physics, there is a strong scientific understanding to the topics that we're speaking to tonight. And you can go deeper into that. The Bond, I know, has got a tremendous amount of research in it. Yeah, fantastic. So I had the good fortune this week of meeting with Peter Sinclair. Do you know Peter?
No.
No. Peter is the visionary behind Loaves and Fishes.
Oh.
Okay. And Loaves and Fishes is the Lifehouse's charity of choice here for December. And he got frustrated, or he saw an opportunity with how much food the local grocery stores were throwing into the landfill. And the reality is, when it goes to the landfill, it releases methane gas. It's hard on the environment. It's actually expensive for the stores to do this. And so we built, the community is built, he's the visionary though, an incredible infrastructure that's delivering, get this, $4 million a year of food in Nanaimo.
Wow.
From grocery store to people's tables. Like, fantastic. Well, not to their tables, to the distribution hub. And it goes out to all of the different food banks across Nanaimo. People can come and find food there and eat healthy food. And the amazing thing is, the food that he's serving there is unlike most food banks, which most food banks are like your KD and your soups and your Mr. Noodles. What he's moving through, by and large, is produce. Right? And some of it's even organic, right? It's just amazing. This is food that would end up in the landfill. And through a little bit of organization, he now had, a lot of organization. He's moving $4 million of food around a year. 600 volunteers a month he's working with. If you can imagine, right? And I had the opportunity of brainstorming with him this week, just for a bit. I love picking his brain, because it's like, this is a successful person. It's a visionary who's actualized, real life, functionality to create big changes. And he was sharing with me, he said, the metaphor that he likes to use is like a 4-lane highway, and how a 4-lane highway can create a really efficient flow for vehicles traveling in both directions. And essentially, that's what we're creating with the intention circles. And he said, the leadership body sometimes will try and get too constrained and have everybody drive in a particular fashion at a particular speed, right? And maybe I'm guilty of that sometimes, and everybody has to follow this particular look, right? And that binds people. People resist that. And he said, but you still need some direction, because without that, if it's only up to the people, he said, it would be a parking lot. Right? People would just park wherever they want. There'd be no flow. And so he says, you want to create enough direction, right? Which is the vision. It's like, hey, community, this is what we're up to. This is where we're going. Who wants to come on board? Does this resonate with you? Let's join together. And enough direction with it, which is the structure, the outline which we've created, which there's now or we're building towards 12 emails and video series to help educate you people on this, with enough freedom for people to find their way through the traffic at their own speed, in their own style. And I thought, wow, you know what? We're actually doing that with intention circles, and how organically we kind of stumbled upon that. Yeah.
And that was our word from the very beginning. You know, we wanted these to be organic, to let every group create their own way. And, you know, really and truly, you know, we are all we're doing is holding the space. And we have created some structure, and it's good. And I'm sure it will change as we go along. And, you know, we're doing the best with what we've got. And it's like, just hold the space for this to happen, and, you know, set the date and come up with some agenda and material and testimonials, and it's happening, and it's phenomenal. It's so exciting. And I know that my energy, I can feel my energy expanding into wanting to take this to a completely different level that we haven't even talked about yet, Norm.
I'll pause on that one.
By the way,
there's the hook. All right. And so, and you know, when that happens, really organically, one share at a time, right? And so people, if you're out there and you're resonating with that, with our message, share the post, put it up on your wall, share it amongst friends, invite people to your intention circles. We want to grow this, and it's going to happen organically. Lorraine and I are not going to do it all ourselves, or our core group. We're not going to do it ourselves. It's not about us generating it even, really. You know, it's not about us pushing, trying to do something. It's just happening. And the more we can just open and share, the more it multiplies. So we talked about the upcoming expansion event in January. And now there's a couple of opportunities even sooner than that, which is pretty cool. Let's touch on that. Sunday, you have a really cool day going on, and that's your vision board day, which you're hosting with Catherine.
Yes.
And so tell us, give us a bit of an essence of the day and the importance of vision boards.
Well, you know, it's that whole thing. Like, your vision board to me is it's what I was just talking about with the energy, right? So I go to my meeting and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this, and I go home and I forget about it. Well, when I've created a vision board and it sits in front of me, and I put it above my bed, and it's the last thing I see in the morning, and the first thing I see last thing I see before I go to bed, the first thing I see in the morning, it's like, that's right, that's what I want. And I've done this. I mean, I could write a book about my experiences with the law of attraction and asking for what I want, and but I'm conscious to it. I see that vision board, and I see it's like you buy a car, right? I buy a car, I go out there, everyone's got the same bloody car. Like, where did all these cars come from? Like, they just, like, overnight, everyone's got the same car as me. And so I'm always trying to get into them as well. These other people's cars. And, you know, they're not even the same as mine, but they look the same as mine, right? But I've got a vision board, and I'm like, yeah. So when I see whatever it is that I'm looking for, and I know what I want, right? I know what I want, and I'm clear on what I want. I go out there and I see it. And all of a sudden, when I become conscious to that, and my cup is full, and I'm not worried about what everybody else is thinking about me or saying about me, and I'm living my life. I'm intending for everyone to make, you know, and making everybody feel special. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, there it is. That's what I've been looking for. That was on my vision board. Oh, what a surprise. Not really. Not really, because I'm looking at it every day. And it's like, oh, there's another one. Do I want that one or that one? You know, I feel very blessed in my life that I have been in the experience of coming out of a self-development program and being in that really Joe Dispenza place, and opening my eyes and going, oh my God, I'm going to buy this house. And, you know, this house was a mansion, and I didn't even have a job. But I went and I saw the house, and I went, well, I didn't even live in this town. But everything happened, and I knew that it would. And I got the keys in my hand going, well, that was easy. And it was so easy, because I knew, like I know how to breathe, that I asked for that in that moment. You know, and the other thing that I've often said to myself and everybody else, be careful what you ask for. Right? Be careful what you ask for, because what you have in your life today is something that you've already asked for. You're thinking about what you've got. So don't be surprised with what your life looks at, because you've created it. You know, and we get to bring all of that with us to our intention circles, and especially to our workshops.
Yeah, fantastic. And so Sunday, you are leading a vision board workshop. And what's the time on that again?
2 to 5 at Unity in Nanaimo.
Okay, 2 to 5. We're going to drop some more information in the thread here, folks, as well. So 2 to 5, and that's at Unity Nanaimo. And that's going to be pretty cool. 3 hours to create your own vision board, to get clear on what you want. And I'm always fascinated when I scour through magazines at what I'm attracted to,
I know.
what I find, the statements, the images, and just really trusting the process. And then, what I create at the end is like, wow, yeah, this is really inspiring.
I know. I just need one Oprah magazine and one National Geographic, and I'm good to go.
There you go. That's awesome. I haven't done one in a while. I look forward to doing this with you on Sunday. That's going to be fantastic. And we also have an opportunity on Saturday as well to connect. And Saturday is the Lifehouse's Spirit-Filled Holiday Community Open House. I think I got all that right. There you go. And so that's from 11 to 4 here at the Lifehouse, 1710 Jingapot Road. And wow, we have a marvelous day that's just come together. So cool. Lorraine's generously offering us some of her time and her wisdom. She's going to be talking about the power of intention. We also have 3 of our young apprentices who are going to be co-creating.
Amazing. They're amazing.
Yeah, that's great. And you actually have known the 3 apprentices longer than I have, which is interestingly, you've been working with them for a number of years now. And yeah, they're really extraordinary people, and they're here, they're so clear. They're here to help change the world, to help heal the world, to help bring light to the world. So come on out, folks. That's a free event for everybody, actually. And we're going to have some food and lots of just good holiday cheer. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That's just on Saturday. So
awesome.
You're welcome. And thanks so much for being part of that. All right. As we kind of finish things up here, I want to thank everybody who logged in tonight. I can feel your energy, and thanks for your comments, your posts. Continue to add those. We welcome you sharing this on your pages or the group pages that you belong to. And on the way out, Lorraine, is there anything you want to leave us with? Any final messages?
Just, I think the greatest gift for all of us is just to be us. And I think that by going out there and doing what we're doing and just loving people for who they are is just gonna create such a great experience for all of us. And I spent a couple hours in the hospital yesterday and a couple hours there again today. And I was so impressed by the level of care that I saw coming from the nurses, in the doctors in the hospital. And I'm just sitting there like, bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you. And it's just so wonderful. And I'm so grateful, always so grateful to be a part of this community and to live in Nanaimo, which really is the kindest and most beautiful and the best weather and place in the world. I really believe that to be true, and I just feel really honored. And thank you, Norm, for for doing what you do and bringing what you bring to the light, because and the more vulnerable we are, the more real we are, the more real I am, the more attractive I become. And when I'm real and vulnerable, then other people get to be real and vulnerable too. And I think that just be who you are, and let us love you anyway.
Fantastic. Yeah, authenticity goes so far in the world for sure. And you really graced us with a lot of wisdom tonight, Lorraine. Thank you for your ongoing work in our community and bringing people together, helping sponsorship friendships and camaraderie, generosity, goodwill. And as we finish up here, I want to just bring back into the field our friend Rick. And for those of you who are still online right now, Let's take just a few seconds. I know this is going to feel really odd. And we're just going to pause and just hold some space and send some energy Rick's way. And we're going to see that it's wheeled in, and yeah, we made a mistake. You know, things checked out well. This is working out. The miraculous has happened. Thank you all. That was fantastic. Okay, Rick, let us know, how was the video for you? On the other side, you can leave your comments in the bar, in the comments line below. And everybody, I thank you so much for being in my life, and be well. Okay. Good night, Lorraine. Thanks so much.
Good night, everybody. God bless. See you in the circles.